Can I please have your ever precious attention? Or not so precious, depending on how you look at it. All right, so what happens when you try to mix Dance Central and Rock Band, so any rhythm games, with idol games like Hatsune Miku or Idol Master, and you add a whole lot of pretentiousness and narcissism, you essentially get this thing. Hold on. You essentially get this, a bit like that, but there's a twist. Self-love life. So essentially, you are an up-and-coming spoiled brat who wants a starlet who tries to be an idol singer, and you want to get to the top as quickly as possible by singing in front of people about yourself. So essentially, you're trying to flaunt yourself in front of everyone and try to look fabulous. And thus, your job is to essentially sound and appear amazing on stage while you are singing about yourself. So essentially, the game is going to be a virtual reality game, Oculus Rift, with the added bonus of Oculus Touch. So now you can finally, unleash your inner narcissism and also, name me any spoiled pop idol, i.e. every one of them. And you essentially act like a spoiled brat. So essentially the game is going to be a rhythm game. So virtual reality, so think like a first-person rhythm game. Gesture-based gameplay, so you're essentially performing in front of the crowd, and you have to sing as, basically, you try to implement subtext into your lyrics, and while you're performing in front of the audience, and while you're doing that, you have to manage both two meters. You have to manage the audience's obliviousness to your the fact that you're flaunting yourself, as well as an amazing meter, which is to keep the audience entertained. Because if one of them, if you don't manage either meter well, either the audience will know what you're doing, or they'll just get bored of your song. And as you accrue more points and perform more effectively, you earn cash in order to accrue more sponsors, buy more costumes to appear flashier, and also make decisions that will essentially be a balance between your own impulses as well as your public image. So it's not just a rhythm game, it's essentially a kind of a stat management game. Think Long Live the Queen, although with more dynamic gameplay instead of visual novel thingy. So the game will be single player and multiplayer, or mostly single player. So there'll be like 3 modes. There'll be campaign mode where you're trying to go from, so it's essentially from rags to riches, so from the bottom to the top. And while you're performing in multiple venues which have multiple themes, so it can be anything from your regular pop theme to magical girl theme. And songs and lyrics will reflect the changes in venues and themes, so you have to adapt accordingly. And while you're singing, basically, instead of singing one linear set of lyrics, sometimes the game will give you options on the fly as to which words you want to pick while singing, in order to give you more choices in how you want to portray yourself, and also give you a chance of planning your strategy during the performance instead of before the performance. So you're constantly making choices. So it's not just just smash the lyrics and you're done, or making gestures or trying to do anything raunchy. But essentially, you're also trying to essentially make lyrical choices. So think of them as dynamic moral choices, but instead of a bit like in Walking Dead and Alpha Protocol, where your decisions are timed. but instead you're singing, you're not like pressing any buttons. And during gameplay, you can also trigger, you can rely on stage equipment in your ensemble, like your dancing assistants, in order to support you in case you're flunking, or in order to enhance your performance, in order to, you know, accrue more points. And also your performance will be recorded in the leaderboards, and in order to compare yourself to other players, you will unlock more songs as you make more performances, you get more performances, more costumes, and also you know, just things that will improve your chances of getting to the top during the campaign mode. There's also arcade mode where you can just sing as much as you want, and also you can, you know, take turns with your friends. That's the multiplayer mode, because it would kind of look weird if, you know, we have two Oculus Rift wearing players, you know, dancing on a really narrow space. And also, and as for art style, I was thinking of going with an anime aesthetic in order to, you know, intensify and accentuate the flashiness of the audiovisual presentation. And also, the songs will be parodies of popular English songs, because not everyone can sing Japanese. And I think that creates an interesting juxtaposition between, you know, a Japanese presentation, like Japanese visuals and English audio, just to create that interesting effect. Which, yes, that's pretty much it.
You mentioned that you make choices during your performance.
Yeah.
So subtext is mechanics. Can you expand on that?
Yes. So essentially, you want your lyrics to be a balance between, you know, you flaunting your status and also still trying to amaze the crowd. Oh, sorry.
So it's like hip hop style.
A bit.